Hello friends, welcome to my kitchen. Place a large saucepan on the stove and pour in enough water. Now turn on the heat and bring the water to a boil. Once it's bubbling, add a good pinch of salt and stir it well. Next, carefully add 16 ounces or about 500 grams of pasta to the boiling water and stir it again to prevent any sticking. Cook it for 8 to 10 minutes or until it's just al dente. Now, in a small saucepan, add half a stick of butter, or about 60 grams. Place it over medium heat and let it melt, stirring gently with a spatula. Once it's completely melted, add 2 tablespoons of flour and start stirring continuously. This step is important because we don't want any lumps in our sauce. When the flour and butter are combined, slowly pour in 16 fluid ounces or 450 milliliters of milk. Keep whisking to make sure the sauce stays smooth. Now add half a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of nutmeg. These spices will give the sauce a lovely, warm flavor. Friends, please write in the comments what country and city are you from. It's very nice to know that we can communicate all over the world. When the sauce has thickened nicely, turn off the heat and pour it into a large mixing bowl. It should be silky and smooth. Now grate 10 ounces or 280 grams of Swiss cheese. Add this grated cheese directly into our bechamel sauce and stir it in. The warmth of the sauce will start melting the cheese, making it even creamier and more delicious. Next, take the pasta we cooked earlier and add it to the bowl with the sauce. Using a large spoon, gently mix everything together until each piece of pasta is coated with that creamy, cheesy goodness. This is going to be the base of our casserole. Take a baking dish and grease it with a bit of olive oil. Use a brush to spread the oil evenly, making sure our casserole won't stick to the dish. Now, spread half of our pasta mixture evenly across the bottom of the dish. Press it down gently with the back of a spoon to create a nice, even layer. Next, heat a frying pan over medium heat and add another half stick of butter, about 60 grams. If you have any questions about the recipe, write to me and I will answer as soon as I see it in the comments. While it's melting, grate 2 cloves of garlic using a mini grater. Friends, I'd be happy if you could give this video a like as it's the best reward from you. Add the garlic to the melted butter and let it cook for a minute until it's fragrant. This will add a lovely aroma to our filling. Next, take 6 ounces or about 180 grams of fresh spinach and finely chop it. the spinach to the frying pan and let it cook down a bit. Then finely chop 6 to 8 mushrooms. Friends, if you enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel to receive notifications about new similar recipes. Add them to the pan. Stir everything together, allowing the mushrooms to soften. Now take 2 chicken breasts and cut them into small cubes. Add the chicken to the pan with the spinach and mushrooms, and fry everything together for about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll want to stir occasionally to make sure the chicken cooks evenly and absorbs all those wonderful flavors. Finally, cut 10 to 12 cherry tomatoes into quarters. Add them to the pan. Let everything fry for another 5 minutes. Once the chicken is cooked through and the vegetables are tender, remove the pan from the heat. Next, take our chicken and vegetable filling and spread it over the pasta layer. Make sure it's evenly distributed so you get a bit of everything in each bite. Then add the remaining pasta mixture on top, spreading it out to cover the filling completely. For the finishing touch, grate 4 ounces, or 120 grams, of Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle it over the top of the casserole. The cheese will create a beautiful golden crust as it bakes. Place the casserole in a preheated oven at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius and bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. Now cut yourself a generous piece. Place it on a plate and enjoy. Oh, look at that! The layers of pasta, the creamy sauce, the tender chicken, and those lovely vegetables. It all comes together in such a perfect way. This casserole is so comforting and the flavors blend beautifully. It's a dish that's sure to bring warmth and happiness to your family's dinner table. I hope you try this recipe and share it with your loved ones. But that is not all. I have a second equally delicious recipe for you. First, we're going to start with the potatoes. I have 4 large potatoes here, and we're going to cut them into small pieces. This way, they'll cook evenly and faster. We're going to make a delicious and hearty meal that's perfect for a cozy family dinner. Crispy chicken rolls with creamy mashed potatoes. It's a simple dish, but it's packed with flavor, and I'm sure your family will love it as much as mine does. Now let's place these potato pieces into a saucepan. We're going to cover them with water, just enough to submerge the potatoes completely. Then cover the pan with a lid and bring it to a boil. Once the water starts boiling, add a pinch of salt to enhance the flavor as they cook. We'll let these simmer until they're tender, about 10 to 15 minutes. You can check if they're done by poking them with a knife. If the knife goes through easily, they're ready. Now that our potatoes are cooked, we'll drain the water and mash them into a smooth puree. While they're still warm, I'm going to add 2 ounces or 60 grams of butter. The butter melts beautifully into the potatoes, making them rich and creamy. To make our mashed potatoes even creamier, I'm adding 1/4 to half a glass of milk. You can adjust the amount based on how thick or thin you like your mashed potatoes. Let's mash that in as well. Now grate 2 ounces or 60 grams of Parmesan cheese. If you have any questions about the recipe, write to me and I will answer as soon as I see it in the comments. For an extra touch of flavor, we're adding Parmesan cheese into our mashed potatoes. It adds a lovely, slightly nutty taste to our side dish. Give it one last mix, and there we have it, creamy, cheesy mashed potatoes. Set that aside, and let's move on to the chicken. Now we have our chicken breasts, 4 large ones. We're going to start by taking 2 at a time to make it easier to handle. cut them in half lengthwise to create 2 large steaks from each breast. This will give us nice, even pieces to work with. Once you have your steaks, cover them with cling film and give them a gentle beating. This not only tenderizes the meat, but also helps it cook more evenly. Friends, I'd be happy if you could give this video a like, as it's the best reward from you. And don't forget, we want our steaks to be rectangular, so trim off any uneven edges. Now let's season our chicken with a bit of salt, about half a teaspoon. And black pepper. This simple seasoning will enhance the flavor without overpowering the dish. Friends, if you enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel to receive notifications about new similar recipes. Now place 2 strips of bacon on each chicken steak. Next, finely chop 1 sprig of rosemary. And sprinkle it over the bacon. Then add a few small sprigs of thyme. These herbs give the chicken a wonderful aromatic flavor. Now, carefully roll each steak into a neat little roll. Once your rolls are ready, transfer them to a plate where it's easier to work with them. We're going to prick 2 rolls onto 2 skewers. This helps them stay secure and makes them easier to handle while cooking. With our chicken securely on the skewers, let's cut them into even pieces, just as I'm showing you here. This way, they'll cook perfectly on all sides. Now let's heat up a little olive oil in a frying pan. We're going to fry these chicken rolls for 2 to 3 minutes on each side, just to give them a nice golden brown color. This step also helps lock in all those wonderful flavors. Look at that beautiful color. Once they're nicely browned, we'll transfer them to a baking dish. But first, line your dish with parchment paper to prevent sticking. Before we bake our chicken, let's prepare a quick and easy sauce. In a small bowl, mix together 1 tablespoon of mustard and 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, This sauce adds a tangy and savory glaze to our chicken rolls. Using a brush, generously spread this sauce over the chicken rolls. It will give them a delicious glaze as they bake. Now into the oven they go. We'll bake them at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Our chicken rolls are almost ready. They've been baking for about 20 minutes and they smell amazing. It's time to take them out of the oven. Now, carefully remove the rolls from the skewers. Look at that. They're perfectly cooked, tender on the inside, with a lovely crispy exterior. Let's add a generous serving of our creamy mashed potatoes on the side. For a fresh finishing touch, sprinkle some chopped green onions over the mashed potatoes. It adds a bit of color and a mild onion flavor that complements the dish beautifully. This is absolutely delicious. The chicken is juicy, the bacon adds a nice smoky flavor, and the herbs make it so fragrant. Paired with the creamy mashed potatoes, it's a perfect, comforting meal. Thank you for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipes. See you next time, and happy cooking.